Welcome to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where real people share timeless ideas. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and in every episode we dive into the philosophies, quotes, points, and life lessons that shape how we live, think, and grow. No matter where you are in life, this show is here to remind you wisdom is everywhere, and it's always relatable most of the times. Okay. Tell us your name and what you do, Sasha.
Thank you so much. My name is Sasha Eburne, and I'm a global business coach, and I support women globally to step into their CEO era and to create five-figure months within their business.
Wow. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to be on the podcast, Sasha.
No worries. Great to be here.
Yeah. What's the quote you want to share with me today?
The quote I want to share today is that you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to take the next step.
Wow. Okay. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to take the next step. But what if I like to know what I'm doing, right? I like to get clarity in order to do the things that I do. That's not how I work.
Yeah, so a lot of people like to have it all figured out first. However, what I've found and what I've seen by really analyzing people's human behavior is that a lot of people take longer to try things because they think that they have to have it all figured out. So if they just tried things, dipped their toe in, took messy action, as I like to call it, they would actually be further along because they're not being held back by the fear of making the wrong decision or the wrong first step.
Okay, but are you saying that there are no, wrong decisions where we can just set everything ablaze because we don't know what we're doing?
Yeah, to a point. I believe that there's no wrong decisions. There is just different decisions. And with any decision that we make or any next step that we make, if we find that it doesn't lead to the solution that we want it to, we can just change. We can just pivot. It's all lessons. And I think a lot of us are so scared of actually making a step, thinking that we're going to take a foot wrong, but actually really retraining our mind to be like, well, whatever step we take, it's going to be the right step in that moment in time. And if it doesn't see the outcome that we wanted it to, we just get to take a different next step.
Oh, you just get to take a different next step. I'm curious, what are some messy actions you've taken despite not knowing what you were doing at the point in time?
Yeah, so probably the first one was starting my business. I started my business on a whim, and I just had a really bad day at work, and I'd kind of been watching a little bit of the space, but didn't really know much about running a business or how to do what I was doing. So through a bad day at work, I decided to come home. I created a website, I created a logo, and literally within 24 hours, I had my first client. So then I got to a point where I was fully booked and I didn't have enough hours in the day, but I knew that I loved what I was doing. I loved the flexibility. I loved the freedom. I love supporting my clients. So the next step was literally just to hire a team. Now, I could have taken a long time to decide to hire a team, but it was just more of it was a matter of need to happen now. And I didn't learn how to do it. I literally just started talking to people, within a couple of days and started hiring people. And we grew to a team of 15 within 6 months.
Wow. Wow. A team of 15 within 6 months. Wow.
Yeah.
I guess there are a lot of messy actions that you took along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Still to this day. Yeah. I love taking messy action.
Okay, you started on Whim. What was the the thoughts of fear that was running through your mind at that point in time? Because you just went from your job, like what the chances? It might not work out, a lot of things. What were the things running through your head at that point in time?
Yeah. So when I started, I didn't have any fear because I still had my job. The fear really struck in within that first week when, one, I started to talk to lots of people about potentially working with them. So I could see that there was the potential. But the day that I went in to resign, which was the second week into running my business, I was scared. However, I was under the impression that, you know what, if it doesn't work, I'll just go and get another job. Because the risk for me was that I didn't like the job that I was in. I wasn't treated very well. I wasn't doing great work. So I was just like, well, if I'm going to have to get another job anyway, I might as well give this a chance right now because I'm in it.
Yeah.
I've already got some money coming in. And if I free up my time, which is the rest of the time that I would be spending in my day-to-day job, what could I actually create? So I saw a lot of opportunity, but of course, there was so much fear around it, but it was kind of I had a thought of, okay, well, if it doesn't work, I'll just go get another job.
Oh, Okay, okay. More like you had a backup, right? So you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, if it doesn't work out, I I'll get it. Has there been a time where it had to work out? Because if it did not work out, a lot of things would, there was no what's the word? There was no backup to fall back on. Like, oh yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Exactly.
Was there a time like that for you, other than this example you just gave?
Mm, I think because I wanted it so much, it was kind of a once I got to a certain spot in my business, that was never the backup plan. The thing these days is if things stop working or I decide that I don't like what I'm doing, I just pivot. I just pivot. I get to try a different business idea. I get to create a different course. So I'm kind of always reinventing the wheel in my business. Like the business is the be all and end all for me and will continue to be because it's so far from 9 to 5. I get to create so much impact for my clients. So sure, there are times where I'm just like, oh, we need to pivot, we need to change, but it changes here in the business rather than never ever does it come into my awareness to be like, oh, I could just go back and get a job because that's never going to be it for me. The business life is for me, and it's just like, well, there's not really a backup plan per se, but we just get to pivot and move with the market because the market changes. So then we need to adapt to suit the market.
Wow. Okay. Like the reason I like this quote is that recently I saw a quote on the lines of this quote you just shared. I think last week or last 2 weeks ago, and it was from James Clear, and it was like, when you're confused and when you don't know what to do, when everything seems scary, just remember one thing: that getting started changes everything. And now I am here with you discussing, and you're like, you don't have to have it figured out. You just have to get started.
So true. I love that quote. That was a great quote. Thank you for sharing that.
Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join, or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation. Yeah. Uh, I know that ultimately, if we peel back the layers, right? People have a way to give excuse to say, "Oh well, I'm busy and this and all that," right? Why they're not doing the things they need to do? But ultimately, at the base of everything is just, I'm scared. I'm afraid that things won't work
Yeah.
out. I'm afraid that people will laugh at me. I'm afraid that people see that I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm curious: is there a framework, a mindset shift, or a different way of thinking of things that empowers you rather than gets you to say, okay, no, let me have it to figure out, let me do more research?
Yeah, what I really encourage people to do is because the body is designed to keep us safe, right? So a lot of people are sitting in this circle of the comfort zone and the uncomfortable zone. One is where the growth is, and one is where things can be amazing. But a lot of people can't go outside of that comfortable zone to try and get uncomfortable for then that uncomfortable zone soon to become the comfortable zone. But I think what I really encourage my clients to do is you need to start learning how to feel what is good for you and what is in alignment for you. And if you're working in a job or if you were doing something that when you do it, it just feels restrictive. You just have this feeling inside your body that this isn't what you're meant to be doing. Listen to that and tune into that and know that you're the only person that can change it. So if you're in a situation, if you're in a job, if you're in a relationship, or if you're living somewhere that just doesn't feel good for you, it is up to you to get out of this comfortable zone and move into the fear zone and actually change it, because then that actually gets to be able to feel good inside your body because you're going to be doing something that's aligned for you. So they really need to actually just stop and in the moment, does this feel good for me? And if it doesn't, they need to change it.
But sometimes there isn't sometimes at the point in time when you just start, you mentioned the word the comfortable, and then the uncomfortable zone, and then when we have to get into the uncomfortable zone, and then that uncomfortable zone becomes the new comfort, right?
Correct.
at that point in time when you're just starting, it's scary. It's not a good experience. But eventually, if you stick around long enough, it becomes the new normal, and you're like, wow, why was I afraid of this
Correct.
thing in the first place? What was so
Yeah.
scary about it?
Yeah, correct. I mean, the very first time I jumped on and did a guest podcast, I was just like, "Oh, this feels a little scary." Now I love them. I do them nearly every day. This is fun. I get to
Yeah,
speak to amazing people all around the world. But of course, the first time I did it, it was scary.
yeah. So for me, I feel like at that point in time, judging based on that feeling, it's not really a good metric because we're scared and we don't really make good decisions when we're scared. Like, I don't think so, because there's so many feelings and emotions that are just happening, and most of our decisions are not even objective. Yeah, you don't have to figure things out, you just have to get started.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is even more important with the age we're in now, right? There's so many ideas everywhere, right? If you wanted to start something, you can basically hop on ChatGPT and say, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do this. And ChatGPT will give you ideas, right? Some really good
Yeah.
ideas, But the thing is, okay, now ChatGPT has given you ideas. What next? And they're like, oh yeah, ChatGPT, that's a nice idea. And we're like, okay, yeah, that's nice. It was a fun conversation. And we move on with our day. We don't execute any of those things. So
Mm,
we're at a point in time where ideas is cheap. Information it's like, it's there. But the thing is execution, being courageous enough to show up and do the thing.
yeah, exactly.
Wow. Has there been any time, right? I'm curious, where it felt, it made more sense for you to figure things out rather than just jump in and get started.
I guess in terms of like different parts in business, there's a few things that I've just tried to work it out and just jump in, and it hasn't worked out just because of a lack of knowledge and things like that. And, as an example, it's like Facebook ads. Learning Facebook ads is a beast. So, I've just tried to jump in and work it out, and I haven't been able to work it out. So there I've got and invested in a coach to support me, to teach me how to exactly do that so I can actually do it right. So sure, there are many times where I try things and they just don't work out. So then it's about pivoting and be like, okay, well, I obviously didn't figure that out. So now I just need to go and find the actual answer. And that's normally by doing a course or investing in a coach.
Yeah, but for me, I think there's a tricky line with buying a course and investing in a coach. The tricky line is um, sacrificing. How do I put it now? People feel like because they bought a course, that studying the course or going through the course is doing the thing, right? It's
Yeah.
Going through the course is meant to help you do the thing. It's not doing the thing. And so even if you take a course, maybe for 4 hours every day, it's a course. It's still not the thing. You still have to do the thing.
Still got to do it. Yep.
Yeah. So I just I felt it's very important to point it out there.
Yeah. You still got to do the work. You still got to learn how to do it and do the work. And, there's been other times where I haven't wanted to do the work after I've learned how to do it. And then I'll just pay an expert to do it for me.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing this, Sasha.
No problem.
On a closing note, I just wanted to speak directly to the overthinkers, the people that have analyzed, who are looking at all the possible scenarios things could turn out, right? And they scared of taking action, scared of getting started because of all the possible things that could go wrong. What would you have to tell them today?
Just to try it, because the thing is, we never regret the chances that we actually take, and we only have one life. So if you want something different, try it, see how it feels, and just move forward, because otherwise you'll get 5, 10, 20 years down the track to be like, oh damn, I wish I'd tried that. And we can't live our life in regret. We can only live in the opportunities.
Yeah. Wow. We can't live our life in regrets. We cannot live in opportunities. That's a soundbite right there for social media. Wow. Thank you so much, Sasha. It's been a
No problem.
fun conversation, even though technology decided to say, oh no, we're going to make them have a rough start. I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation. At the beginning, you mentioned what you do, but on a closing note, I just want you to, Tell us what you do and where we can learn more and connect with you.
Sure. So I support women in 2 stages of their business. The first stage is actually getting started. And even if our new clients don't know what sort of business they want to do, we help them actually craft a business around their existing skills and their life. So I've created a really low entry point. It's called the Startup Blueprint. It's a 12-week program to support them to, one, find out what they want to offer, and two, how they can actually build a business around that. And then the next stage for that is once they've solidified the foundations in the business, then we go into the mastery of business and strategies and those next level. And that's the CEO Collective. So that's our 12-month program. And that's really all about mastering your business and kind of the scalability of it. Now, if they want to connect with me, I always hang out on social media, particularly Instagram, just at Sasha Eburne __. I'm always up for a chat in DMs and love to hear from any of the listeners.
Okay. What about your website?
Yes, just www.sashaeburne.com. Everything's on there.
Can you spell it out?
Yes, SASHAEBURNE.com.
Wow, thank you so much, Sasha.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's been an absolute delight chatting with you. I'll be sure to put all the links in the description and show notes so people can just click and go directly to the website.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. You've been listening to Relatable Wisdom, and I've been your host, Wisdom Okonkwo. You've been listening to the podcast where every story, quote, and insight helps you see life a little differently. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show on your favorite podcast app and share it with someone who loved the conversation. For more inspiring voices and timeless wisdom, visit relatablewisdom.com. Until next time, keep living, learning, and collecting wisdom that matters most to you.